The sun had barely risen when the sound of agitated barking pierced the cool morning air. Max, a highly trained German Shepherd with the K-9 unit, stood rigidly at the bottom of the portable stairs leading to Gate 17 at Harrington International. His sharp barks echoed across the tarmac, loud and insistent, directed at a man in a pilot's uniform reaching for the aircraft door. Captain Richard Voss paused, his fingers still on the handle. His crisp uniform, silver-trimmed cap, and veteran pilot badge reflected the golden morning light. He turned slightly, eyebrows furrowing as Max's barking intensified. Around them, passengers looked on, murmuring among themselves, their boarding momentarily forgotten. Sergeant Brian Kendrick, Max's handler and long-serving officer in the K-9 unit, tightened his grip on the leash. Standing nearby was Officer Elena Ruiz, who immediately noticed Max's uncharacteristic behavior. This wasn't a reaction to routine stimuli like food, loud noises, or even high-stress environments. Max's body was low and tense, ears pinned, eyes laser-focused on Voss. He wasn't just barking, he was trying to warn them. "Easy, Max, stand down," Kendrick muttered under his breath, but the dog remained unyielding. His growls now low, vibrating through his chest like a distant engine ready to roar. Max was never wrong. Captain Voss gave a nervous chuckle, shifting his weight awkwardly. "Is there a problem with your dog, Sergeant?" he asked, his voice strained. "I think we need to run a quick inspection," Kendrick replied, nodding toward Ruiz, who was already pulling on a pair of gloves. "Standard precaution, sir. Just need to check your carry-on." "Of course," Voss replied, his expression unreadable. He handed over his leather flight bag without protest, though his fingers lingered a moment too long on the handle. Passengers at the gate leaned in, phones out, some already filming. The air around them thickened with uncertainty as Ruiz unzipped the bag and began methodically examining the contents. Uniforms, a spare pair of shoes, a tablet, personal toiletries. Nothing out of the ordinary. Max had quieted but remained locked in place. He wasn't satisfied. Ruiz shook her head. "Bag's clean. Nothing out of the ordinary." Kendrick didn't budge. His instincts, honed over 15 years of law enforcement, matched Max's. Something wasn't right. "Check the jacket," Kendrick said. Voss hesitated. "My jacket." "Please, sir. It won't take long." Voss removed the navy blazer from his shoulders and handed it over. Ruiz ran her hands along the seams and inner lining, and then she froze. "There's something here," she said, voice low. With delicate fingers, she pulled a small, tightly folded pouch from inside the lining. The material was rough and oily, almost like canvas, with a chemical smell neither of them could place. Unfolding it revealed a metallic device, old and rusted, wrapped in additional cloth. Max's bark exploded again. Kendrick leaned in. "What the hell?" Ruiz squinted. "It looks like a manual detonator." Voss took a step back. His face turned a shade paler. "I don't know what that is. I've never seen it before." But his voice quivered. Ruiz and Kendrick exchanged a look. "We're going to need to take this seriously," Kendrick said. "You'll need to come with us, Captain." They moved quickly. The terminal was cleared, passengers rerouted. The device, though non-functional, resembled older military-style detonators, and protocol demanded full lockdown until the bomb squad could verify its nature. In a secured interrogation room, Voss sat with trembling hands. "I swear, I didn't put anything in my jacket. I had drinks with some crew members last night. Maybe someone." "Crew members? Who?" Kendrick pressed. "I don't know them well. One of the newer co-pilots, and someone from maintenance. We were at the aviator's lounge. I left my jacket on the chair when I went to the restroom." By the time the bomb squad arrived and examined the device, the mystery only deepened. It wasn't an active bomb. It had no detonator cap, no wiring. But it had been engineered to look real enough to trigger panic and protocol. "It's a decoy," one of the technicians said. "Meant to frame someone or spark an emergency." Airport security pulled footage from the lounge. And there it was, a grainy clip showing a hooded individual slipping something into Voss's jacket pocket while he laughed and spoke with a bartender. The person left quickly, head down. "We need facial recognition on this individual," Kendrick instructed. The hours ticked by. Eventually, the mysterious figure was identified as a former disgruntled airline employee, fired months ago for misconduct. His motive? Revenge against the airline and the pilot who, unknowingly, had written a performance review that contributed to his dismissal. Voss sat in stunned silence as the news reached him. "I remember that guy," he whispered. "Name was Damien Coyle. He worked ramp crew. Always angry. I never thought." "He set you up," Ruiz said. "You were the scapegoat for a statement he wanted to make." Max sat quietly beside Kendrick, now calm, his job done. Later that week, in a press briefing, airport security commended the K-9 unit for preventing what could have become a mass panic on board. Though no passengers were harmed, the incident revealed a terrifying gap in protocol. Voss, now temporarily grounded, shook Kendrick's hand outside the precinct. "I owe you everything. And your dog." Kendrick looked down at Max, who wagged his tail gently. "He knew before any of us did." "How?" "Some things you can't train for," Kendrick replied. "You just learn to trust the nose." The sky was beginning to darken as Voss walked away, lighter now with the truth revealed. He still didn't understand how close he'd come to losing everything. But one thing was certain. Max had saved more than a flight that day. He had saved a man from a future he didn't deserve. And he had done it all without saying a word. But everyone had heard him loud and clear. 2 months later, Kendrick and Max were invited to the National K-9 Officer Conference in Atlanta. It wasn't just for commendation. Homeland Security had taken notice. What started as an unusual bark at a jet bridge had uncovered a brewing plan targeting multiple air carriers with similar planted decoys. Damien Coyle wasn't working alone. A task force was quietly assembled. Max, now a decorated K-9 with national recognition, became part of a case study in early detection methods. He and Kendrick were flown across the country for consultations, meeting handlers from Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. During one session, a technician presented footage of a different pilot being stopped in Denver with an identical pouch. Same canvas material. Same rusted metallic piece. Same intent. "Whoever's behind this," Kendrick muttered. "They're trying to fracture trust in the system. Not blow up planes, but make us panic." Ruiz, now working on liaison with the Joint Investigation Unit, added, "It's psychological warfare. Discredit the system from the inside." Max barked once, sharply, from the corner of the room. They looked at each other, then at the screen. Another lead had just been uncovered.